The parent is Tuliahewa Dixon. And the child is Tuliahewa Esther.
Kambera gwete kwa mchisha ngo isha watu yayewa Esther wahangura school fees ngene na hateja shana amashemero magonka MTN momo eberewo mbeni nyegasta igana kaga ni 5 sta munana 0 hash kushashuro mwana school fees tokoma nyo mchisheri zagwijo wanje ninga nchaka ngwasa kuzo wawe mwebare munonga.
Looking for a vacation of a lifetime? Cross the equator and discover Pineapple Bay Resort. Enjoy exceptional life's luxuries. Spend quality time with family, friends, or even that special someone. Get in touch with nature with our range of outdoor activities. The calming tranquility of water, breathtaking views, moving memories around campfires. It's all here. Plus, a club experience like no other at Pineapple Bay Clubhouse. It's a whole vibe. You can hire any of our 3 VIP cruise boats for groups of 10, 14, or 25 people. Or you can cruise out with swag on a luxury yacht for 12 people. Our premium boats are all safety compliant. Make your next vacay an all-round experience at Pineapple Bay, located on Bulago Island, right in the midst of Lake Victoria. Talk to us today.
Better to the tips. Scammers love posing as officials from banks or government agencies. Never share sensitive information with unsolicited callers. For hang up, find the official contact and verify their identity first. In partnership with Uganda Communications Commission and NBS.
Sometimes escape begins above the clouds, where peace waits beneath the trees. Here, nature invites you to breathe, to reconnect, to feel alive again. Where warm welcomes feel as natural as the forest around you. A sanctuary designed for comfort, and moments made to flow effortlessly. Forest Resort Louise, where nature welcomes you home.
And that's all we had time for here on NBS Live at 9. Up next is the Frontline.
Wow.
You thought I was the one hosting the Frontline. Simon is looking at us. Simon, what's coming up? What should we expect tonight?
Well, I first need to make a quick announcement. On Saturday, we'll all be cleaning.
It's a very important announcement.
I think it's a brilliant thing.
I fully agree. Are you going to be participating?
Definitely. I always clean at home, but this time...
Where are you going to clean, at home or the expressway?
The expressway, definitely.
NBS Frontline. Barely 2 months into the new term, the ugly head of corruption has already reared itself once again. If the recent sittings of Parliament's Committee on Physical Infrastructure are anything to go by, the picture emerging in the 7th term is grim.
The ED is going to go and record a statement at police, and if he does not provide evidence within a week, the next time he reports, then we shall officially open a file regarding the disappearance of Uganda's wagons.
The vice is not confined to the highest officers.
Why was the design changed? Why was the alignment changed? People were poor, wanted money.
The Mpigi Expressway saga has also raised fresh questions about accountability. While the president responded by dismissing several engineers, many are asking whether firing officials alone is enough to tackle the entrenched corruption.
Who are those people who caused the changes, and who are the owners of those titles?
Annual reports by the Auditor General have consistently highlighted billions of shillings in irregular expenditure and supported accountability, abandoned government projects, and weakness in procurement across ministries, departments, and agencies. For the ruling National Resistance Movement, which has been in power since 1986, the renewed anti-corruption campaign presents both an opportunity and a political test. Can this latest anti-graft drive redefine the NRM's legacy? This is the Frontline.
NBS Frontline.
Yes, a very warm welcome to the Frontline on this 23rd day of July 2026. My name is Simon Kagwanjala. A lot to catch up on. NUP celebrated its 6th birthday. What does this mean to the country? Perhaps I'll give Honorable Mwiru a moment to share with us their journey of 6 years and what it means to the country. And definitely there's been an announcement from the Premier, the Prime Minister, Right Honorable Nabanja, inviting the entire nation to participate in the national cleaning exercise. Could this be sustainable? And why is it coming now? We have the Chief Whip, the government, the Minister for ICT, pardon me, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance. I was locked in the other mode. But but of course the big topic of the day is about the government's front against corruption. It's generating a lot of hysteria. We'll be cutting through the noise, the skepticism, the optimism, and definitely asking the big question, could this be a redefining moment for the NRM? Is it more of a public stand, political stand to revive or revitalize the ratings of the National Resistance Movement that has been tainted by a record of corruption over several decades? Joining me tonight is Honorable Justin Lumumba, Minister for Information and National Guidance. Good to have you and a very good evening.
Thank you.
Perhaps for the benefit of our viewers, you could take us through the cleaning program for the weekend.
Good evening, everybody. I want to thank you for this program. Today, the Prime Minister had a press conference where you are also represented, or you worked so hard to make sure that the message gets to the people.
We covered.
She intended to get the message. And it was passed in Cabinet 2025 that we should have the last Saturday of the month to be a cleaning day, the National Cleaning Day. So we decided that it should be launched beginning this month. So the launch is on Saturday. And the launch will be presided over by Her Excellency Jessica Alupo, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, and it will be done in Chisenyi. But as the activity will be going on, the President will also be cleaning in Nakasero. And some of us will join the Vice President at the national launch. But all leaders at all levels are expected to clean. So the lead ministry is Ministry of Health to be leading us in this. Why now? It is because just in Kampala alone, we generate 2,500 tons, but only 50 to 60% is safely collected. So the rest is left in different places, And then this is what sometimes clogs the drainage. And that's why you see the floods in Kampala also increasing. So it is meant that we come together as leaders, as citizens, everybody in town, we must all clean. In the villages, we must clean. So the responsibility of local governments, they must now, local governments at the LC1 level, the LC1 leader has to choose what they are going to clean. Is it the school? Is it the well? Is it the borehole? Is it the stream in the community? Is it the compound of a certain individual who saw that on that in the community? Is it where they dump the rubbish? So that they all assemble in that place and clean. But when you observe, we have the worst place in this country, which is so that our markets. Our markets across the country. There is no market in this Uganda where you go, even when you go the back, that you find is clean. So a decision was taken that cleaning of markets will be on Friday, then cleaning of the rest of the places will be on Saturday. But that will begin next month, end of next month.
Well, before I introduce other guests, I just have one more question for you on this big initiative. Normally, NRM national days have been devoid of national character. What would it take to rally people from the entire political aisle to join this?
But we are calling on everybody. We've not said people of a particular party should not participate. They are all supposed to participate because they are also leaders and they are also human beings and they live in those very communities. So for us, we are looking at communities. We are not looking at political parties. And the leadership in this country, if it is to talk about leaders, even here in the studio, we don't belong to the same political party. I don't know which political party you belong to, but it is the responsibility of all of us. Issues to do with the sanitation, issues to do with the managing our environment concern all of us. Well, so, and even when it comes to diseases, why are we cleaning? It's because statistics now show that most of the diseases that are affecting people, typhoid, malaria, these can be avoided if we clean the environment, if we keep sanitation as a priority in our lives. And it's not only people of one particular party that are affected. The people who are affected are many. So it's the responsibility of all of us to make sure everybody participates.
Well, thank you very much. We have with us Honorable Odonga Oto, a frontliner. We have Honorable Paul Mwiru, the chief whip of the opposition in Parliament. And we also have Mr. Job Kija, a member of the civil society, one of the activists from the civil society. Well, the topic tonight is more about the fight against corruption. Perhaps I should start with Honorable Mwiru. Of course, the limelight has been on NUP as you celebrated 6 years, the 6-year journey. I could give you a minute to highlight a bit on it and what it means to the struggle.
Well, thank you, Jala, and the viewers and listeners. The 6 years was just about taking stock. Like you know, in the 6 years, our president is in exile. He's not in Uganda. In the 6 years, just like the late Ben Chiwanuka, even our vice president for Uganda is in the same situation, but now it is making 13 days. We don't know his whereabouts. The police came and only said that for us, we ended up intercepting him. Where he went, actually, we don't know. In the 6 years, we have many of our supporters who have been actually, like Chibarama, who was abducted by the state and has never seen the light of the day.
So no cause for celebration. It was somber.
I said I was using English. I said that we were taking stock. There were challenges to the extent that the human rights situation, in as far as National Unity Platform is concerned, we have had turbulent times on that direction. On the other, of course, we have made some strides in terms of infrastructure as an organization, but that's not important. The major is that actually we are political actors. The space has shrinked to the extent that we had actually to tell our members that challenges are part of life, that people need to continue speaking the truth to power and pushing back. Of course, I know to you when we say that, for instance, there were political prisoners whom you know, that actually incarcerated the likes of Alex Mufumbiro, the Achireo Chivumbi, the Eddie Mutwez. Many are there to the extent that the ghost of expertment of actually haunted the judiciary again. To the extent that actually they were extending granting of a writ of habeas corpus saying, please first wait. They're waiting to hear what I think the state says. So that situation as it obtains, it does not only happen, it does not occur to National Unity Platform. We also sympathize with other sister parties like the PFF. We know Dr. Besigye and Obedu Tale are in prison. We know now my brother, Honorable Semuju, for fear of his life. You know what, when I was coming here, someone showed a post. Then he told me that, do you know where Bazuba Taringaya is? Do you know where this body was buried? Do you know where Edward Kakongi? Do you know where Ben Chwanuka is? But you are going there, but please make sure you don't annoy the system. Meaning that the fear has actually engulfed with everybody. And these are very senior members actually in society. So the 6 years was about taking stock and reminding our people that there is a book which my brother at one time gave me to read. It was saying, kill fear before fear kills you. You remember that? Meaning that the entire country is engulfed with fear. From the professional angle, that's why many professionals have become professional collaborators now. That otherwise, they don't occupy their space. For instance, when we talk about human rights, the framers of the Constitution dedicated the whole chapter 4 on human rights. When you read our Constitution, it has a preamble, and it reminds us of our history, which was characterized by tyranny, turbulence, all those type of things. But now, the Constitution creates a duty on all of us to ensure that there is enjoyment of rights. But when a right is violated, people say, but Honorable Oto, you go slow. You can easily end up where Mwanga Chivumbi is. So when you ask now, where is Mwanga Chivumbi? Actually, I can make we have been in Parliament raising these matters. And in a subtle way, you see like Parliament running, I was saying that, no, Mwiro, you get in touch with the minister, you talk about this matter. Then you see the business continue as if everything is normal. So we have
So how bleak is your future as you mark 6 years?
Well, even we see a silver lining despite all those challenges. That's why we're telling our people that challenges are part of life. I think even you must be having some challenges as a person, but you don't give up. Actually, I'm happy to see my sister here, Honorable Justine Mumba. I was just reminding her that before they had passed the Political Parties and Other Organizations Act, which was providing for funding of political parties, and for long, it hadn't been operationalized. It took one evening, one afternoon. It was, I think, Honorable Nathan Nandala, Honorable Justin, I was there. Then we discussed, why don't we start funding political parties? She bought the ideas, and actually that's how it started. So, but the fear which was within the system, I think before our predecessors, don't even fear to show that political parties are funded. Of course, you know for a fact that in these 6 years, National Unity Platform, actually, mass nations were conducted through Parliament. And they denied National Unity Platform funding, like any other political party, under the assumption, I think maybe that was in line with the President's statement, that NUP njakujimarao. So when it went to violation of our rights, now it moved to constrain them financially, but we have survived.
I want us to swing into...
And I want first to thank the members of NUP, the members of Parliament, and other members in the diaspora, and then other members of the party who have registered continued supporting the party despite those challenges?
Well, we have a whole topic to discuss what lies ahead for the National Unity Platform. But getting to the gist of our discussion today, Job, I'll start with you. For a while, civil society has made alarms about the state of corruption in Uganda. Do you get a sense that NRM is now finally waking up to your call and you can pat them on the back?
Well, we appreciate the sector, and even as citizens, we really appreciate the declared commitment to the fight against corruption. The challenge is that it's quite rhetorical, because every time President Museveni swears in, he commits zero tolerance to corruption. I think even in the 10-point agenda, fighting corruption was at the core of what took the NRM to the bush, and it's one of the commitments really they made. But if you did an audit or a trends analysis of corruption from 1986, when President Museveni declared in the 10-point agenda and he's swearing in and whatever, to now, you'll actually realize that corruption hasn't reduced. If anything, it has just increased. So the question is, why is it that the president keeps committing zero tolerance to corruption, but it continues growing? And also, the other thing is that as he commits zero tolerance, he then also contradicts himself. Because you remember, for instance, just recently, when the members of the NRM went to Kyankwanzi, on the day that he actually declared that both the giver of a bribe and the recipient are culpable in corruption, he then actually gave them 100 million shillings each.
Was that a bribe?
Of course it was a bribe. Because the question is, why is he giving this money to members of parliament who are going to be paid? But they are paid very heavily, these people that you see here, a lot of money. Because if you do the analysis, over the next 5 years, they will receive close to 4.5 billion shillings. We did the average.
They're 300 million for the cars.
So if you add all that up plus rent and whatever, by the end of each month, actually, the average is 75 million shillings a member of parliament is taking. If you did the average, you sum all of it up together, and you do an average. A member of parliament is taking home 75 million shillings per month. Now the question is, why would the president then go ahead and give them money? And the question is, where is this money coming from? And remember he told us that both the giver and the recipient actually are culpable in corruption. So he's telling them on the one hand that we are committing to fight corruption, don't go and get corrupted, and then he's corrupting them. So it is really such a contradiction. And I think fighting corruption really requires leadership. And the leadership must be trusted by the citizens, because actually the leadership also needs the support of the citizens in order to fight corruption.
Okay, but for now, do you get it that the trust levels are rising given the new drive?
I really, because what I am seeing on social media, when you talk to people out there, when you listen even on a talk show and you hear people calling in, you will hear that actually there's a lot of pessimism. Because the story of zero tolerance to corruption in Uganda is actually tired. It is just rhetorical. So Ugandans don't have confidence that actually the NRM government has the capacity to fight corruption. It is just lip service. And let me just say something. That you see, we are always told that fighting corruption is not the responsibility of just the leaders. It is not the responsibility of the president who is leading this country alone. And they say all of us actually have a responsibility to play, which actually is very true. But the challenge is that when you have citizens coming in to then expose corruption and fight it and support government fight corruption, then citizens and their organizations are victimized. As we speak, we have 10 NGOs that are closed. Why? Because they are exposing corruption in governance, in democracy, in human rights, because of an abuse of rights. Like we are seeing all these things which are ongoing, abductions, abuse of due process, the abuse of the judicial processes, all this is corruption. When you abduct somebody for a month and then you produce them later and clear them, the DPP sanctions files, there's I think a member of NUP that was abducted for about a month around elections time. He appeared and the DPP sanctioned a file of a traffic offense. So the question is, why would you disappear somebody for a month and then take them to a torture chamber and do whatever to them, and then you charge them for obstruction of traffic? Does obstruction of traffic necessitate someone to be disappeared for a month?
Well, I'll certainly get back to you.
Let me just say one final thing. We have a number of NGOs that have actually were at the forefront of, for instance, the March to Parliament, exposing the corruption which apparently is being dealt with now in Parliament. And right now what's happening to them, instead actually of appreciating them, they've been in and out of CID, being interrogated for all manner of things. Their accounts are frozen. They are being accused of money laundering. Some accounts actually have not even had money for over 3 years, but they are accusing them of money laundering. So really, I think if government wants citizens and citizen organizations to support it, to fight corruption, government must actually commit that indeed it is going to respect citizens' rights and their organizations.
Thank you. Honorable Dongoto, there have been quite a number of twists and turns. Lately, the big headline is about corruption. The last headline that alarmed everyone was the sacking of engineers from the Ministry of Works over the Busega Mpigi. Balam continues to do shock therapy in eastern Uganda. Do you get a sense that now the drive is on and it's unstoppable? And how sustainable is it, in your opinion?
You see, those of us who have been in Uganda politics for a while, we know there are 3 levels of corruption. There is this one of looking for the chicken thief. You send a whole 9-9 with police full on top, with tear gas carnicas, and you arrest this chicken thief. That is what Balam is doing. He's doing a very good thing. You cannot abuse anyone who is chasing a chicken thief. So at a micro level, Balam has sent shockwaves. There's panic all over the country. I even tweeted that those who produced the Oxford English Dictionary should consider bringing a new concept called Balam effect.
Chicken thieves?
No, there's general panic. All the civil servants are even talking in bars. Some are even looking at me now that, this Balam may come. So, is arresting the micro thieves, maybe macro. But as a politician who has been in opposition for long, there are certain questions we should answer. President Amin left 17 properties for Uganda government in London. How comes there are only 2? There is the residence of the ambassador and the one at the Trafalgar Square. Who sold the other 15? Isn't that corruption? Uganda Dairy Corporation with branches all over Uganda was sold for $1. Isn't that corruption? Bank of Uganda with all the branches, BOU building, that you now call Cham Towers, was sold. And the annex, UCB, the annex was sold on Christmas Day. It was a gift actually on Christmas Day, the main building. So Attack Sugar, you have given Attack Sugar in the north 700 billion shillings. We don't even have 1 spoon of sugar. Presidential Banana Initiative in Mbarara. This year we are giving them 15 billion shillings to improve the varieties of bananas. By now we expected to see bananas in sackets, not being brought in lorries. This Lubawa Hospital, we have put 1.4 trillion shillings of taxpayers' money. The whole Committee of Parliament, Honorable Miru, Parliament did not advise that government should inject money in Lubawa Hospital. I'm glad it is picking up. But 1.4 trillion shillings. So this corruption initiative is just what my late father used to tell me, that it is a bad eyes law. You know, it's a cobweb law. When you put a cobweb, it is only the flies that will get stuck. But the birds will just come and pass through. So Lumumba, Justin, near me here, my good friend, you are not scared of Balam. You are in a different league. They are in a different league. It is the people down there who are saying Balaam may be coming. None of the ministers is scared of Balaam. Oh, someone has used a bridge for 1.5 billion. It's okay. But what about the corruption at a ministerial level? What about the corruption at a governmental level? What about the properties of Uganda government that we know the buyer is the seller? Mwiru, you know these things. There is a whole committee of parliament chaired by Honorable Okumurigan that tried to find out who are the shareholders of Uganda Property Holdings Limited. Uganda Property Holdings Limited is a company that manages all our properties abroad. In UK, in Netherlands, I even went to the other one in Belgium, in Nigeria, Transocean Land, in Tanzania, in Dar es Salaam, in Mombasa. They have sold most of our properties, and a whole committee of parliament even failed to find out who the shareholders of Uganda Property Holdings Limited are. A whole committee of parliament.
Okay.
Not even that.
Do you celebrate
Government,
the microcosm?
even government now is paying rent in its own building to Uganda Property Holdings Limited. The building belongs to government, but the government is still paying rent in their own building. So you go and kill those people constructing bridges in Pade, put them on fire squad, but the thieves have lead vehicles. This is where the battle is. The thieves, they even clear way for thieves. They are the thieves in this government. And we are not going to be scared.
Honorable Lumumba, you get a sense that the public perception is that the fight is more of a facade and it's targeting the small fish.
That is their opinion, not the public. They constitute part of the public. But what I can say about this is that nobody is above the law, with the exception of the president when he's in leadership. That is so clear in the Constitution. And my colleagues who are talking here, the beauty of it is that they have also ever held the responsibility, where they were given responsibility, facilitated by taxpayers, being paid tax salaries to fight corruption, to be part of the systems to fight corruption. Because when we look at it is Parliament that approves the budget, and it's the responsibility of Parliament to oversee the work that is implemented by the executive. And in that, the structures that have been put in place for them to be able to do their work is that they have committees allocated. Different ministries report to different committees of Parliament. And accountability committees in Parliament are chaired by the opposition. Yeah. So they are chaired by the opposition. And even when they've made their report on the floor of Parliament, they give a time to the committee, to the executive, to come back and report back on the resolutions that have been passed. And if it has ever happened, it was happening in last term, beginning last term. And that has been happening. If they're not satisfied with the responses from the executive, then they have, it also stipulates how they can still bring out this. That's one. Two, Parliament, where the opposition also has leadership, we have the auditor, Office of the Auditor General. That audits the whole of Parliament. Why did I put it as an Office of Parliament? Is because they audit the work of the executive, the expenditure of the executive. Then the reports are taken to Parliament, and those reports are given to the different accountability committees to hold the executive accountable. They, as the opposition, committees which they chair, they've not. It is them to come and hold us accountable for as executive. It is so. You cannot sit here and talk like you are not part of the system. You have been, or you are still part of the system. And that is one part. The second part is that when we are getting loans, we still go back to Parliament. And we account for what has been done with the previous loan, especially in that sector, and what this money is going to do, with even time frames and what not, even the conditions are part of that. It is the responsibility of the Parliament to really say if this is out of if this is not, this is what it shouldn't be, or they feel that should not be. But also, nevertheless, when you bring up the issue of the engineers who were suspended just recently, who brought out this? It was brought out by the Minister of Works himself, In the first cabinet, the president told him, come and explain to me what you have been telling me about corruption in the sector. And he explained. And before they came, the president had been meeting those engineers and the president. And after that, what happened is what you have explained. But how did this come? And that's why you see some of the things have changed. Like when we brought the issue of the issues of emerging these agencies back to what? To the ministries, rationalization. Some of the agencies had grown wings and they had become goddesses in their own style, or gods. You find an agency under a ministry and they had forgotten that the minister is the supervisor and the PS is the technical supervisor, and they had become so many. And they were making mistakes without anybody checking. An agency would leave and go to finance. And finance takes a decision even to fund them without consulting the minister or the PS. So rationalization also came up to solve such problems. Let me give an example. You see the road of the Busega Road, the Kampala-Busega Road that they talk about. It started at around 580 billion. We were supposed now to compensate people along the way to expand that road. Then the technical people came up and said, no, when we take it to the, when we now work on the main road and expand, it will require us more 280 billion for us to compensate people. Then they said, no, let's now change. And they were doing this as technical people without even reporting to the head of the institution. I mean the head of the sector, the head of the ministry. Then they said, let's divert and pass this side. And then the technical people went and bought land along that side where they were diverting the road. When they got there, they said, now, it seems this way, it's very expensive. Themselves, let's pass this side. When they took it on the side of now where there is even a swamp, they even went and bought land and put up a factory so that the road comes to pass in the factory, and then the factory owner was the one to decide how much should be compensated. So when the government valuer now tried to, did his work, rejected the value attached to the property by the government valuer. Wait, I'm explaining, because it was government that discovered it. So now, what was supposed to be the 580 billion road came to 1.2 trillion. And I'm happy when I saw today in Parliament the Committee of Physical Infrastructure taking on the Ministry of Works on this. These are the things, these efforts to fight corruption is in all sides. It's not only that it has to be government side. Opposition has the responsibility, the public has the responsibility to fight. When Honorable Otto talks about going for chicken thieves because he's looking at local governments, remember most of the programs are implemented in local governments. It's in local governments where we domicile all of these projects.
Yeah, but Honorable Lumumba, I find it quite weird that engineers had the latitude to do all they were doing without the supervision, without the intelligence of the state, who lowered the guard in this case. And besides, you seem to be doing a lot of chest thumping that it's government that is waking up to this. Do you realize that for a while, civil society has been exposing all these flaws, and as a reward, you've been arresting and humiliating them?
I don't want you to think that I'm thirst-stamping. I'm giving information. And I think that's why you called me here, so that I can tell you where government has been able to, what government has been able to do, where we can say, yes, we did it, and even where we have shortcomings. I thought that is why I'm here. So if I'm explaining, I've explained one. But if you give me time, I can even explain more. So let me give you, so when Honorable Otto talks of going for local government is like going for chicken thieves, that's where the implementation of government programs are going on. All of that they were checking what you have seen the Minister of Local Government doing and the Minister of State doing is not only for projects that have been implemented by local government. Some of the projects have been implemented by central government. Yeah, they would come back and write a report. Look at which report they would have to decipher. This project we saw was good under your sector, ICT, as a minister. This one was not done well. You as a minister take it up. And also secondly, before these people move there, what you are calling intelligence, there is already information about those projects. Because now you don't, why does he pass others and go for others? It's because they have information that this project, this and this happened. This didn't go on well. This school, they are ghost children. This school, they are ghost teachers. This school, they are ghost this. So he's going, and that's why when they are moving, by the way, if you are not aware, they are moving with people from those, the State House Anti-Corruption. They are moving with some people from the IGG's office. They are moving people with people from CID. But some of the information they have, some of them they don't have. It is not, there is no need for more approval. When the president was taking oath on the 12th of May, taking oath, he gave 2 directives, clear, which everybody is supposed to take on. One was no sleep, Chisanja no sleep. So that means we must maximize time. And when you look at our National Development Plan 4, we have from 50 to 500 billion US dollars. It means that whatever we are doing, we have to multiply times 10, tenfold. So tenfold, not only in terms of resources, but in terms of time, in terms of innovation, in terms of bringing systems that are going to help us deliver to improve productivity, to improve production, but also to improve the quality, but be able to compete at the global level.
Honorable Mwiru, when you listen to Honorable Lumumba, do you get a sense that now government is confronting corruption head on, or it's just another facade? There is a time around 2019 when we saw government officials marching in the middle of town, in the middle of the city, and there was a lot of mockery about it. Could this be a repeat of what government has done before?
Well, thank you. First, personally, I have no problem with the Honorable Balam pulling the publicity stunt the way NUP has been doing, because it is NUP which started with the Kulabisa. Yes, we came up with the narrative of exposing what is taking place in society. So I have no problem with that direction. But then too, then the other issue which comes out, of course... Do
you remember that march?
Yes, I remember the march. And the people who are talking about fighting corruption, most of them are products of stolen elections. And the part of the maladministration, the court system has sat on all the election petitions. Despite the law clearly spelling out what time must they dispose of the petition. So you would see that from the process of producing leaders, people have come out of a rigged process, and now the judiciary is telling us that they sat on the petition waiting for money to start hearing petitions. But the taxpayer is still paying the judicial officers on a daily. I'm showing the level how corruption is embedded. So you would look at that as maladministration. The point I'm making actually, before I respond to what my sister Honorable Rumba was talking about, that again the biggest problem in the country is not even about the corruption. It is about the maladministration. Those who are supposed to be fighting corruption and covering corruption than revealing it. I think I should make that very clear. I was part of the East African Public Accounts Committee, where they would create the accountability sector. Mean that accountability sector would mean that all agencies of the state will form part of that. By law, that's how it's supposed to be. But what is taking place in the country? Honorable talked about that, but let me start with in the 9th Parliament, where I was with Honorable Mba and Honorable, the classified expenditure budget was 300 billion. I was looking at the record. Now, it is actually 4 trillion. One wonders what is taking place. So classified expenditure now has become a part of smart. People come and pick their money Then for them, they say, for us, we are clean. Classified expenditure is where people spend without actually, not everybody, accounting. They will account, the law provides for a small committee of the speaker, the chairman park, the finance, like few people to look at those classified expenditure, which they don't even normally, they have not been actually paying attention to them. But two, and most important, you see there is what we call the accountability cycle. That whoever takes public money under the law must account. Even when the standard person left office. Parliament has made the recommendations on who has actually helped himself with public resources. My sister, she's now there. I think should be in position to table the Treasury memorandum which has been produced. Nothing. In the last Parliament, even when reports were produced, they deny the committee is supposed to go and present on the other paper.
Okay. Do you celebrate the efforts that have so far manifested?
No, to me, the publicity stand is not going to bring anything, despite the fact I have no problem with it, because this is what we have been doing. You understand? What maybe we need to address ourselves as leaders, if I'm to borrow what my stand, what we are saying, does this system work for us? The law the way it is? Because what people want to see, that you see if money was stolen, money has been expended. Because for instance, like assuming if the minister goes somewhere and looks at the building, does he have the BOQ? you understand? To know, like, let's say maybe this what has, you see, now that's why we go for the value for money audits. I'll give an example. When they were constructing, I think my colleagues here would remember the General Central Market. We kept on shouting that the one floor is missing. Then when we kept on shouting, then the data told us that, you know, the cost of construction went up, then we have to forego a whole floor. You understand? But when, if you got the BOQ, it is very different. So we want to see, in my view, take an example of the budgeting process. They normally bring a budget and say this year's budget is going to be 80 trillion. Very well knowing that actually it won't be for 80 trillion. They build in like the 3, 4, 5 trillion to go and access money in the 3%, which the law allows them to spend before Parliament approves. You understand? Most of the scandals we have is that money which is cleared the 3%.
Okay, I want to take something from you.
The point is, this
is more of a public stunt, in your opinion.
To me, it is, whereas I have no problem with what it's doing, because it is what we have been doing. We need to structure. I need to get an undertaking from my sister, Honorable Rumumba, that now, from today, I'm going to get in touch with the Minister of Finance. We're going to come up with Treasury memorandum to show action taken on most of these officers, because most of these corruption issues are very recurrent. Take an example of Uruguay. I was in Parliament. I think that in that Parliament, we clearly told, even after passing the loan, forcefully the way it was, the person they were giving the money don't even have money to pay stamp duty to get the money. When nobody walked in the house with an exemption for someone to pay stamp duty, like how they give you a loan, they say you must pay 1%. Yes. We actually, if you go and check the record, we moved an amendment to the Income Tax Act to exempt the person who had given the money, but most of even borrowed from a commercial bank. Stamp duty, he would not afford 1.5% of the loan he had got. And do you know what happened shortly? Where they had fought for the money. Remember, local Uganda, local Rwanda. So, but you see, all these things we're talking about, they end up, as the owner just said, they end up in one thing, the Auditor General's report. Because as these things move around, we cannot say, you see, it is us who are pointing out.
I beg we continue after the break, but the question remains, should Ugandans celebrate the process or the outcome? We'll be back.
NBS Frontline.
Can I have a light, please? What is this?
Castor Light, the best testing light.
Try it.
Try it, try it, try it. Da, 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 da.
Guys, look at this post.
like extra cold. Castle Light. Try it.
The problem is the foundation.
Do you know the kind of cement I'm using in this foundation? I guarantee you even my grandchildren will come and find this house.
You buy your buy today and get the job done. Strong, reliable, available at hardware shops countrywide.
Why pay for someone else's repairs? Say goodbye to hidden costs and hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched fuel-efficient and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Across Hybrid. Find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade in your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800-211-033 to get started.
Uganda is moving forward. And at the heart of that movement is the most extensive fiber network in East Africa, with more than 15,000 kilometers of fiber and over 5,000 telecom mast sites. Soliton Telmec is the backbone that enables Uganda's telecom and digital infrastructure, connecting government services, businesses, homes, universities, hospitals, banks, villages, and telecom masts. We don't just build networks. We maintain and commercialize critical infrastructure that supports national development. East Africa's leading fiber company, connecting Uganda with the most capacity. Soliton Telmec, building networks for life.
We don't need anyone's permission to move forward. What we need is the power to do it our way. Spiro is not your typical EV company. It's the power grid for African ambition. A network that connects Nairobi to Kigali, Lagos to Lome, Dar to Kampala. Not with cables and wires, but with clean, quiet, relentless movement. This is Africa, powered by us.
We understand that everyone yearns for a clean, tidy, and convenient working environment. That's why 7-Star Cleaning Services, we strive to provide highly customizable cleaning solutions using environmentally friendly chemicals, state-of-the-art equipment, and well-trained workforce for our clients. Visit our head office, Plot 4691, Ntinda Chisasi Road. Contact us on our official lines 0393-243-503 or visit our social media platforms. 7-Star Cleaning Services, a remarkable difference.
So tasty, delicious, some snacks.
Some snacks.
So yummy, yummy.
Yummy, yummy.
Some snacks. It's so my tummy, tummy. Just a grabbing when you're hungry. Some snacks. So yummy, yummy.
Hello, boy and girl, come here, son. Uncle Son's got you. May have some snacks for you. Your man, papa, your granny and your picnic. Well, if I kind of snacks for you. Come pick anything you want. Some snacks for your tummy, tummy. Yummy, yummy.
Sam's, delivering memorable moments in every household.
This is not just a run. This is a movement with purpose. Join us on 30th August 2026 at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds for the Cancer Run 2026. Starting at 6 a.m. Also taking place simultaneously in other districts across Uganda for the completion of the One-Stop Cancer Center at Nsambia Hospital. Registration is only 30,000 Ugandan shillings online using Gonza Pay. Gates are available at all Centenary Bank branches, Capital Shoppers outlets, Bread House branches, the Cancer Run office on Zimwa Road, Muyenga, the Rotary Uganda office at Nick Building, and Rotary clubs across the country. The Rotary Cancer Run 2026 is organized in partnership with the Parliament of Uganda, Centenary Bank, Crystal Water, and Next Media Group.
What if
For one day, you stopped dreaming about success and started living it. This is the Young and Ambitious movement, opening boardroom doors for Uganda's next generation of leaders and game changers. Your journey starts by joining the tribe, where you'll take on exciting challenges designed to test your creativity, leadership, confidence, and hustle. Then get the chance to meet CEOs and top bosses, share your ideas, build your network, and if selected, step into their shoes for one day before joining them for an exclusive roundtable discussion. Think you've got what it takes? Follow Next Radio, NBS Plus, and Next Creator to join the Young and Ambitious tribe. Or send join to 0706 106 106 to register. Young and Ambitious. Dream bigger, get in the room.
NBS Frontline.
You are causing people problems.
Welcome back as we continue with the Frontline, taking stock on the journey, the trajectory in the fight against corruption. Is it making some of the strides that are worth celebrating, or it's more of a stunt to appease the gullible mass of Ugandans? But well, Job, civil society for years was exposing the rot. Now, government has taken it upon themselves to go where you never went. Local government, for instance, and now you're looking at a gross scandal like the Busega and PG Expressway, and it's the president now cracking the whip. Aren't you persuaded to cheer them?
Actually, listening to the narration by Honorable Lumumba about that MPG Expressway saga, and of course I've also been following it quite closely in the media, I get a bit worried that government business can be conducted in such a manner. And you see, this really, it's not unique to that, because to that particular case, that you can grow a budget from 500 billion, 580 billion, she said, to more than twice. And the president has a robust intelligence apparatus, and he's not able to detect this. And the budget keeps shifting, and this is not detected. I think for me is an indictment on government. We can't even, if we even come and tell that story, we should actually be embarrassed that a Minister of Information can actually come on this platform and even tell that story as is. This is not unique to that, because you know the budget these days is rewritten through supplementary budgets. And you can just get this incident and import it to Parliament and see how supplementaries have been passed. By the time the financial year ends, actually I think in this particular Parliament, the last Parliament, they passed a supplementary, I think it was 2 weeks to the end of the financial year. So all this really, for me, is corruption. Now, when you go back to the local governments, civil society has actually been playing a phenomenal role in terms of exposing corruption in local governments. Actually, you will find that in a number of these locations, civil society is even more victimized by the local governments, sometimes even in connivance, unfortunately, with the resident district commissioners. They are, in a way, enemies, because these people, I remember, I think it was somewhere in Lango sub-region. There's a gentleman called, we call him Superman. He's a civil society leader. He was even shot at because of exposing corruption in local government. So this has actually been ongoing, and I think really the little that you are seeing even there that is being saved can be attributed really to civil society. I remember there had been a platform which had been formed, facilitated by Accord. At that time I was at the NGO forum, and I was also part of it, which was called the National NALCA. I think it was National Local Governments Association, something like that. And the idea of that association was bringing together local government officials, the political leaders, to really deliberate on how they can fight against corruption. So this has actually been happening. But you see, I think also what we need to really address ourselves to is what exactly is going on in the local governments. Is that where the real corruption is happening? If you look at the national budget, I think in this year, local governments are going to be receiving about 8 trillion shillings, okay? Or they have received the total, of which about 80% of that actually is in recurrent expenditure. Very minimal of that, which is about 20%, really goes to development. Now, when you see the local government minister and whatever going to the local governments and then blowing it up as if that is where the rot is, I think it is misleading. If we are to fight corruption, we need actually to go where exactly corruption is happening.
Okay, let's start with the premise, with the notion that it's self-cleansing within government. Self-cleansing. Isn't that plausible enough?
Well, I don't know that it is self-cleansing. Maybe it is trying to, you see.
Is it self-cleansing or hoodwinking?
I think for me it is hoodwinking, actually. And this is not the first time that we're having, I call them theatrics, to be honest, for the lack of a better word, happening. I remember in 2016 campaigns, President Museveni appeared in different public rallies, and he was publicly firing NADS officials, medical workers, education officials on his public rallies. If you do a trends analysis from 2016 to now, I don't know whether the agriculture sector has really significantly improved, or the health sector and the education sector, because of this, what you are calling self-cleansing that was happening. So for me, I think it is actually deflection. It is trying to confuse the public to imagine that, you know, your money is being stolen in the local governments, when actually it is less than 10% of the national budget that actually goes to the local governments. Yet, we have a lot of money. We have the money bonanza. I think it is Honorable To who was actually explaining to us the money which has gone to the attacks of this world, the Aminas, the Pinetis, Inspire Coffees, and the likes. And you see, I really look forward to a time when, I don't know which ministry would be responsible for that. Is it science and innovation? Whereby we set up a proper mechanism through which a citizen can actually pitch, okay, with an idea, and then it is cleared through a formal process and they get money. Because the question is, why is it that there are selected individuals that are being favored and they are receiving this money just out of a directive, a presidential directive, and yet other citizens are not given the same opportunity? So the question is, are these really the most outstanding citizens that are worthy of receiving these monies that the Honorable To is talking about, that there are no other brilliant ideas that could potentially compete with these ideas and also be funded and benefit from government money in terms of promoting the innovations?
Thank you. Honorable Lumumba.
Yes, please.
In 2019, you participated in that very famous walk.
Yes.
What was the outcome?
One, within the government, we improved the law. Because during that discussion, we realized that we needed to improve the law to do with corruption. And we've gone on improving. And that is also when the decision was taken to bring in, apart from having the law on paper and practicing it, to bring in technology that helps to solve the issue of corruption or mitigate. That's when I remember the issue of IFMIS came in, and at that time when IFMIS was brought in, the issues to do with the financing using the IFMIS system, at that time the anti-corruption agencies didn't have access to that system. But as time went on, we realized that the agencies should have access to that system. Let me give an example. The IGG should be able to trace the money, how Minister, the permanent secretary of ICT has paid an innovator, and what has the innovator done? Even CID should have access. Even State House Anti-Corruption Unit should have access. So when we had that work during 2016, it now brought in the discussion of technology to bring systems that can curb this. And that's when, you remember, we also amended the law to do with the procurement, so that we have the e-procurement system, so that you apply online and every evaluation is done, you receive feedback online, and if there is anybody who wants to appeal, can appeal. The only challenge we faced in that is that it is moving on smoothly, but the IGG, when somebody appeals on an issue to do with corruption, there is no time frame within which the petition can be listened to and be disposed of. So that one also makes procurement petitions take long, especially in that institution. While the other institutions, there is a capping by law. There is a cap to that effect. Then it was also during that time that during the work that government took a decision to also change the law to take on e-procurement, but also to change to make sure we have all of these systems that were coming in the government to be centralized. And now they are centralized under the Ministry of ICT.
And when were the
and out of now you're asking about, now you're bringing iron sheets.
Yes.
Can you allow me complete the other sentence? Okay. Now, out of the about 800 systems that are within the government, the ICT systems, now about 380 have been centralized under government, so that is meant to help us to have the register, so that nobody goes out to procure a system that already exists in the government, to avoid duplication, because that is also another corruption that we used to have. So it is by NITAU.
And who is the provider for NITAU?
So NITAU is managed by our government, the team at NITAU. So now when you talk of, now that is also another area that we looked at as government, and so there was duplication. There was duplication. I said the work started the discussion to use IT to fight corruption. So I'm now explaining what happened after. So now now there is no system that government can approve until the Minister of ICT has checked it and even has accepted that we don't have such a system in government. We arrest that at the table of the Solicitor General or Attorney General. And also issues to do with why that work. People used to think that corruption is with us only who are in government, but also brought on board also the public to know that if you see any corruption taking place, it is denying you the service as the ordinary people. And that is now also, we also looked at the Whistleblowers Act, because there was little effort, little reward for the whistleblower. And that is when amendment was brought, so that if there is a whistleblower, then what is there for the whistleblower when again, they succeed?
While you sound very committed to fighting corruption, don't you find it awkward that the principal comes out and says, don't go for lifestyle audits, you'll scare away people? And in other instance, the president also comes out and says, for as long as they invest here, it's okay. Let the corrupt be. So isn't that blowing hot and cold?
The president has made those statements. Yes, I've heard him. But also, after making those statements, discussions have gone on, and that has changed. And that's why you see, of recent, we have also had some kind of lifestyle audits in certain people, and some of them are already even before court. So I don't want to go into details of that, because you as a media person, you are also supposed to be an investigator and get to this. So he can make statement as a head of state, but those who are listening, not necessarily actually people in the government, even those from outside the government, can have a discussion with him. And sometimes he has had change of...
Before I get to Honorable Otto, as a Minister for National Guidance, do you find it appropriate that technical officers should be paraded and condemned before the public?
Not only... What do you mean?
The Balam way.
In the courts of law.
We saw there was once Minister Gwang doing the same thing that Balam is doing today. Do you find that fine?
What they are supposed to do, because according to our law, everybody is innocent until proved guilty. That is the principle. So, what they are supposed to do is to get their findings and give their findings to the anti-corruption agencies that can prosecute in courts of law. But this is just awakening people to tell them that, you know, this was meant to be this, but it didn't happen in this way. And then government is going to bring to book the person who didn't do the right thing.
Honorable Otto, you call this some bit of awakening, chasing chicken thieves. Are you persuaded to believe that this will be sustained?
You see, let's get to simple maths. Our budget is 80 trillion, right, Mwiru? Out of that, 9.5% of that money is going to local government, which means about under 10, about 8.5 trillion is going to local government. So Balam is chasing the 8.5 trillion. No one is knowing where the 75 trillion is. It's like if you're walking in town, you're carrying bread, bananas, and a mobile phone, and they all happen to fall down. Any reasonable person would have to pick the phone first, then you pick the banana. You can't pick the banana, then pick the Apple phone. So I see what Balam is doing is a good thing. It's a good thing. It's like someone in intensive care for you giving that person perfume, combing the hair. It's not bad, but it's like picking the banana and leaving the smartphone. So where Uganda has reached, half of the cabinet ministers are corrupt. I can say with authority. A person like Amos Lugolobi, he removed iron sheets for Karamoja and put it on the rooftop of his cow shed. In law, that one we call it strict liability offense. Everyone sees the iron sheet in the rooftop of the cows.
He was cleared, so you can't...
Cleared? Who cleared?
You can't publicly accuse him.
He was actually cleared by court.
Yeah, now you see, I'm even coming there. So all the institutions to fight government have been compromised. We have courts of law. I am a practicing lawyer, Mwiru as well. One of these days I'll make a decision to have no business to do with the judiciary. I have gone to court myself to apply for bail. In one court, they even adjourned court, and the presiding officer called me in chambers that here bail, we do it for 3 million. I said, no, but this client has not even paid me that if you don't want to give the 3 million, we are going to give bail cash 4 million. But if you give me the 3 million, we shall give non-cash bail for 0 shillings. So the institutions that Uganda should rely on, like the judiciary, is compromised deeply. The DPP, the Director of Public Prosecution, in every district, you have resident state attorneys. I don't want to mention a district. I was invited by a client. They were charged aggravated assault. And the prosecutor was saying, if the person can arrange some 2 million, they can give a lesser charge. Let your client just arrange some small money, Mwiru, and then we can just put the normal assault.
You need the Balam there.
Yeah.
You need the Balam there.
So the institutions of government, the judiciary, problems. The Director of Public Prosecution, problems. The IGG is reactionary. The State House and the Corruption Unit, you don't see them. The state, which are the Auditor General, some people have appointed their relatives in the Auditor General's office. That's why Parliament has been paralyzed. Because the person who should audit Parliament is a relative of one of the leaders of the Parliament. So the philosophical question is, who should watch the watchman? You have put a watchman there, but who should watch the watchman? You know what I think? We just need to... Capitalism will kill this society. There are certain goods that should be in the hands of the state. Education, health, religion, security. If you have traveled to different parts of the world, in the United Kingdom, US, the government cannot allow health to be run by private sector. Education, religion. Now, a traffic officer is asking for a bribe because the government does not provide for him. The child falls sick, he needs to go to Nakasero. Education, they need to pay school fees expensively. School fees per term is 1 million. The salary per month is 600,000. How don't you expect that officer to be bribed, to be corrupt? So for me, I think we need to restructure the thinking of government, that we bring back education in the hands of the state. We should have proper government schools. I want Honorable Lumumba's children, just like mine, to go and study in Upola Chien Primary. So the private sector is out competing the government institutions, yet not everyone can afford. Nakasero Hospital, most of the key government officials are dying in Nakasero Hospital. They are being referred from the National Referral Hospital, Mulago, and they pass away in Nakasero. Just go and look at the mortuary book. People who have died, senior government leaders. So the private sector is doing better than the government sector. So other than government providing for me roads and police station, what does government give me?
Okay.
So the point I'm saying is, civil servants are most likely going to be corrupt if the state does not protect them, does not provide good housing, good education, good health care. And one of the suggestions, other than lamenting, I think at the local government level, we should stop, Honorable Minister, this is a recommendation, should tell the president. The other time I called the switchboard and they said they would call me back and no one called me back. I wanted to tell them corruption in another sector. The moment we recruit civil servants at local government level, we should stop the District Service Commission from recruiting people. The recruitment should be done by the Minister of Service, Public Service. Because the local government now is recruiting relatives, friends, and in-laws. So decentralization is failing. If you have 5 million, they give you a job. You have a cow, they give you a job. So we need to centralize recruitment of all local government workers so that the Ministry of Public Service recruits them and then the deployment is subsequent.
I want to get to Honorable Muiru.
Yeah.
A specific case now that is headlining is about the Busega Mpigi Expressway. Engineers have been sacked. I believe you've taken keen interest in the proceedings in Parliament. The expose, how they're exposing the road, and how Biamukama, the minister now, is taking the flowers. Do you think it's getting to the heart of the problem?
Well, to start with, you know what we also need to distinguish clearly, that now there is the ministry after the nationalization, but UNRWA was a standalone. It was a vote, and it would actually account. They would even pay. Maybe what we need actually to understand that was a road which had designs for which we even were borrowing. Maybe the question would put to all of us, what were we borrowing for? Where was the other money supposed to come from? Because we started on the project. And we all know that once a contractor assembles and goes on site, once you hand over a site, even if it's not working, it charges you. Because you even realize that some of the costs, it was because the contractor had been handed over the site, he was on the site, then they had to do change of designs, so he would wait and fame is paid, because it's within the contract. Then even this variation of prices, the question would be, how would they arise? And how are they being approved? Actually, as they were moving on. But to me, you know, when corruption becomes an ideology of a system, because it has held the current system for so long, to the extent that now the fear that everybody thinks, someone will say, but people have stolen the government money, but the money does not get finished. Even now they think they're stealing and the money doesn't get finished, because people keep on paying taxes. So for me, what I believe that we need to try first to find out, how was that money? Because the budget, the contract, there was a contract price. When it doubled, that meant they now had to come back to Parliament for a supplementary to fund the variations they had done. You understand? But it's also normal. They have been making budgets. Then they said they gave, let's say, 50 billion to an entity. Then they come with supplementary of 50. And I said, supplementary is like a nyongeza, isn't it? It can't be like the main course, the main meal. But he should have been doing these things, and we've been seeing them happen. So at the end of the day, as Honorable Justin said,
supplementary is supposed to be for unforeseen.
That's what it's supposed to be. That's what we're supposed to have the contingency fund.
No, contingency fund is for emergency.
That's what I'm saying. We're supposed to have the contingency fund.
You see,
but we have been abusing the supplementary.
Just to support you, I was the chair of committee. We came and inspected the northern bypass. Why the northern bypass was not getting finished. And a white man, a Frenchman, called me aside as the chair and said, you see, I've been instructed by these engineers not to proceed. And we established as a committee of parliament that the budget of the northern bypass increased by 200%. So after the project starts, these engineers write a report, the ground has changed, they ask for more money, so it is just an eating spree.
Actually, the other issue which we need to address now critically is the consultant on the road. Because for anybody to be paid, they pay based on the certificates. You like someone was telling me, you know, people have been complaining about our building at Parliament. That you see the building is not earning, where is the problem? So someone was whispering to me, staff, that you know what? This contractor, the one who they gave the contract, so they're just rewarding his father. His father helped the president, so they gave the contract. That even when they pay him to pay the contractors, will not pay. And now they resort now to paying that the subcontractors. So even now the question will be, where is the consultant? Because as they are generating the certificate, you can't find the work which had been done. As they are taking that money, how are they raising the certificate to be paid, to pay themselves?
So how wide can the net be cast on this?
Actually, to me, you see, when this issue of corruption, even before you say how wide, the day we shall know that the people who are involved in fighting corruption, they must have a severe punishment than the corrupt. The corruption will cease. Because because for instance, now like that road, we're now going to get engineering, we're going to do engineering audits now on the road. Then the process is going to slow, but by the time you move, the election cycle will have come. And now the focus will now focus on steering another election to get a lease for another 5 years. So that will be forgotten. For instance, remember the national IDs were Maldbank first. That scandal, the national ID. It was that a lot of money was lost in hundreds of billions. Then we moved out to something else. But to me, this gesture, I want to see the next time now, when we are now questioning every sector. The Honorable Dongota has said that the percentage which goes to local government, that's why, even when you look at the auditor reports, the Auditor General has entered has having 16,000 auditor reports, which is supposed to do. But you can focus on 4,000 of the big entities, which take like almost 98% of them.
Well, Honorable Lumumba, in a minute as we take a break, have you now adopted NUP's Tubalabisi approach?
The president told us very clearly, no corruption and no sleeping.
He's always said it.
So, but you are concentrating on Honorable Balamu and Honorable Namere. Their sector is local government. They've gone for local governments. Those who are in charge of central government should also come and audit and take us on as central government. For me as a minister for ICT, what I want to say is that I've already told you that all of the systems, the 800 systems within government, we have registered, we are registering them. So far we have registered 380 to bring all of them in. So every ministry is supposed to do this. And the one who is supposed to bring out the whip is the Prime Minister to us in central government as chief coordinator of government, but also as the Prime Minister's office is supposed to do the monitoring and evaluation of both the whole of government. So Prime Minister also should bring out the whip to us ministers in terms of central government work done by central government. So we are supposed to account in terms of resources, in terms of time, and even how we have been able to find solutions to the challenges in this country.
Besides,
so we are not taking on NUP because the president did that. And what the person from the NGO world was talking about, that they give money to this and don't give this one, when they give money to the ordinary people, I want you to know that There are those who are doing things that where they cannot use money from commercial banks or from the different facilities, financial facilities under government, the president extends that. And he does that through cabinet. So if you see has extended the money to Matthias Magola Day, money which they are now going to extend it to Semfuka to do with the medicine for diabetes and pressure, then money extended so he does that. But we have the UDB. That's where we all run. That's where I also go. Well, despite that I sit in the cabinet. So that one, the only problem is we don't come out to tell the public. And now I'm the one supposed to say. We have now to share that information to the public so that people know that for those who are under PDM, yes, the 100 million is coming for those under subsistence. But for those the women who are doing business, go for the grow. We who have land, go for the agricultural credit facility under Bank of Uganda. Those of us who have big projects, go to UDB. We need to come out and explain. We come and explain.
You know, grow is already in scandal.
Tell me, I don't know.
We'll be back.
NBS Frontline.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Like a daily bando, like a daily bando, like a daily bando. Omuliro nguwulira muli mu mutima kukankana like drums. Kalakata, kalakata, endungu ya kusabula. Mikono juu, free of fire, free of fire, free of fire.
God is confounding the wisdom of the wise. So now every program will be based upon what you determine. Your ideals and ideas will be consulted to build what they want to build. And before, they had rejected.
Watch The Power of Prophecy with Prophet Elvis Mbonye this Saturday, 6:30 p.m. on NBS TV, Uganda.
The National Mosquito Net Distribution Campaign is back. No one should die of malaria in this era. It is your responsibility to chase malaria from your home. The good news is that the government of Uganda has once again started distribution of mosquito nets under the 5th Universal Coverage Campaign, also known as the Under the Net campaign. Under this exercise, 1 mosquito net will be distributed per 2 people in every household. A village health team member, a community health extension worker, also known as a CHU, and the LC1 chairperson will move house to house to register members of the household in preparation for receiving their mosquito nets. Do not lie back. Ensure that you register all your household members to receive a mosquito net. On the distribution date, move to your distribution point and receive your net. Mosquito nets protect you and your family members from infectious mosquito bites that lead to malaria. Ensure that you receive the net, hang the net, and sleep under the net every night.
Hey, hey, travelers! Are you a family gearing up for that big vacation, a hustler working abroad coming home, or your squad chasing sunsets and passport stamps? It's time you lock in. Say goodbye to long airport queues, shocking roaming bills, and the stress of hunting for local SIM cards, because now you can travel like a local. Stay connected in over 180 countries. Just scan, tap, and boom! Instant data the moment you reach your destination. Get your Rogue Travel eSIM today at travel.roguetelecom.co.ug. Contact us on 020-500-123.
The Miss Uganda 2026 journey to the crown is calling. Are you confident, intelligent, ambitious, and ready to represent the Pearl of Africa? Register now. Log on to missuganda.org. Celebrating 15 years of true Ugandan beauty. Follow the search on StarTimes Makula Chika starting 31st of July, every Friday to Sunday at 8 p.m. Sponsored by partner sponsors V&A Sherry, Vaseline, U-Home, 7 Days International, Evervest Malt, and the lead sponsor, Opain Uganda. Alcohol is not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Please drink responsibly.
Across Uganda, the parish development model is paving the way for prosperity, helping families transform their lives through strategic farming practices, like the 4-acre model.
In our Chibaro of 1996, we said first acre, put coffee. Second acre, fruits. The third acre, you put pasture for dairy cows. The fourth acre, for food, cassava. The good thing is that now cassava is also becoming a very good cash product. But at least for food. Then, mind you, the backyard. You put poultry for eggs, you put piggery.
I'm in a 1 acre plot of land. In this 1 acre, Your Excellency, I practice this banana plantation. I also practice coffee. I also have dairy, Your Excellency. Every month, Your Excellency, I get 500,000 from these bunches.
The 7 activities we recommended, they have a big global demand.
We have 10,000 Nile tilapia fish and 10,000 African catfish. And when we sell our 10,000 tilapia, we get in one harvest 20 million shillings.
Fruits, especially capsule, which is cold, can do very high value crops like apples. And then finally, those who are near the wetlands, like the ones in Bukit who are wasting the wetlands, they should do fish farming, not in the center of the swamp, but at the edge of the swamp.
From coffee farms to fish ponds, the 4-acre model is empowering Ugandans to transform their lives. The parish development model is your pathway to wealth creation. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
NBS Frontline.
Welcome back. As we look at the current onslaught against corruption, what remains untold and how much should the country brace for? Of course, there are very interesting episodes that you just keep enjoying the suspense. The parliament issue is yet to be concluded. Job, are you as excited by these blockbusters you see? Agencies raiding residences and impounding a lot of stuff. How exciting is that? How much of a spectacle can it be to you?
So I think even the way this whole thing has been done is it's unfair, I would say, in some instances. Yes, they are broadcasting the rot, apparently, that is going on, for instance, at the local government. But I saw Honorable Balam, for instance, went to, I don't know what school, is it in Poma or something like that? And he even called the Minister for Education. And that's how much money do you send to these people per year? 1 billion. And they are charging school fees. Where are they charging school fees? And I wondered that, okay, of course there are other smaller schools which are receiving even less. But I wondered, okay, so I studied in King's College, Budo, and I know that it receives money from government, but is also one of the schools that actually charges the highest school fees in this country. But you can see what the money is doing, okay? And I wondered, can Balaam go to Budo and do this? I was going to use a word which I'll call it a mess, actually. Let me just call it a mess. Can he go to Budo? And I saw the people in Ankole challenging him and saying, you're there, firing teachers on camera and whatever. Can you go and do these things in Intari? You go and close Intari. Go and close Bwelanyanji. Go and close these other schools. So I think really he's bullying these teachers. There are some teachers that we have seen, he even stampedes them. And he lies to them that, I'm going to forgive you, to ask the president, forgive you, you confess on camera. And then they confess that, we collect this much money and we've been doing with this. Then he asks, who have you been sharing with? I've shared with so and so. And after that, he says, okay, officer, you arrest this person. And what is wrong? So as a lawyer, no. I mean, you see, feminists have to come and to lie to someone, actually, that you're going to be forgiven. It is like this thing they are doing to these people of NUP, of confess to crimes you didn't actually commit, such that we forgive you. You look at someone like Olivia Altai and others. So it's a funny game that is being played, which I think is not fair. These people have children, they have reputations. Yes, and I'm not saying they should tamper with the taxpayers' money, but if we are really to also really fight corruption seriously, we need to do it we need not make people that actually may not be as complicit lose their dignity. Do it in a dignifying way. Don't go and you start denigrating somebody and then you make them self-implicate, okay? On little money is actually, I would say, yet actually the real corruption is happening elsewhere. But also, we are talking about the president, for instance, and celebrating the fact that he has now committed zero tolerance to corruption. But the president is the same person that has actually, you are talking about the Lugolovi story. He was actually never cleared by court. But the DPP apparently lost interest in his case. We have had many cases like that, where the president himself has declared that, I forgave Sisi Namuju, I forgave so and so. People have stolen taxpayers' money. So the question is, can we really trust the president that he's committed to this fight against corruption when he's actually letting people off the hook that have stolen our money? How sure are we that even this case of the MPG Expressway, 5 years down the road, we are not going to have these people that have inflated this budget more than 2 times actually relieved of these charges, the charges dropped? I recall actually, I think last month or the other, I read that the Anti-Corruption Court has dropped, I think the IGG had actually lost interest in a case of the OPM scandal. Remember, I think 10 years back, people who stole, I think, money, I don't know that it was Karamojo, something like that. And the IGG just lost interest. Taxpayers' money has been lost, okay? And IGG is losing interest. DPP is losing interest, just withdrawing cases. So if really we are to fight corruption, let all of us just be serious, including the president, by the way.
Well, Honorable Lumumba, in this new drive, is there a work plan? Or you're just staggered and sporadic?
Is there a script?
The script was given to everybody by His Excellency.
That was a slogan.
No, I call it a script because in there, everybody has to write what they want as a ministry, as a sector. And for me particularly, I've told you that the Ministry of Health has told you that we now go into national days for cleaning, so that we are able to fight those diseases that are a result of poor, should I say, sanitation, poor working environment, rubbish around, so that we can avoid that. And they've also come up with one to do with the how to avoid non-communicable diseases, and that is now where every sector, every public building that is going to be constructed will have to have the component of somewhere where people can go for exercises for the issues of health.
So everyone is doing things the way they want.
Everybody has to work within his sector. But as you observe now, like under the National Development Plan we have 18 programs. So under the 18 programs, when it comes to digital transformation, that one is chaired by Minister for ICT, where I chair. So we are also writing now under digital transformation, what are we doing to bring the issue of no sleep and no corruption, so that we have systems that are able to trace, systems that everybody can use to avoid this contact of person to person, which brings in money. But also, we have to bring also systems that will be able to trace money that leaves this country to go out. What is it for? Because also, there are those who have now decided the money lives here and goes out, and then it comes back to the individual in a different way. All of that we are tracing. And also at the same time, we're also looking at how do we avoid, let me give an example, taking long to get reports. Like if we have a project, let's put that project in the system, and then we know at this after 1 month they are supposed to have achieved this. After this month they are supposed to have achieved this. So that is the best way we shall be able to track issues in terms of time, whether we're on track in terms of time, whether the resources are being utilized well, and also whether there is value for money, whether there is supervision, whether there is somebody in charge.
I wanted to remind of another achievement. Of recent, you are paying back our loan and you pay to some companies. In the UK, it's money MJ. You are not talked about those achievements.
But those still were brought to light by government, and we are bringing out systems to also bring out that. Yeah. So that
so
if it is
reminding you of those achievements.
You are calling it an
I hope you're
achievement,
not being
but
sarcastic.
of course it is. Of course it is. Of course it is. But that's why it was they were able to trace because of the system, and because it wasn't cash, and it is a system. It was traceable, and they got up to where it went, and the people who did it, the one who pressed the button, also was brought. Whoever managed the system and the process also was brought. They were brought to book.
And the money?
The money was, some of the money was recovered, some of it was not recovered.
Oh, yes. Honorable Dogoto, it's Chisanja Hakuna sleep. Do you feel the vibe already?
President Museveni still believes in Uganda. He's refusing to age. He's encouraging. He chose Balaam. He even made a statement that Namere, her noise is good for local government.
And the Balaam is cantankerous.
Yes, and they have started working. I've also seen the Minister for Youth and Children Affairs, the doctor, the young lady. She was in a taxi. She's now doing the work of a traffic officer. She was in a taxi counting the people that they were overloaded. I think some of these people like Balaam, Namere, and that minister, they think Uganda is very small. So we need to institutionalize the fight against corruption. Now, where I would agree with the Honorable Minister, Justice Lumumba, we now have, I think, 16 million smartphones. That was the last time I checked the statistics.
There are 20, we have phones in total 25 million.
25 million phones.
And 18 million smartphones.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, unlike when we are being taught in commerce, the characteristic of money should be scarce, should be portable, it should be divisible, I think we may have to go for e-money. In the next 15 years, I would pray that we don't see paper money. So that a police officer asking for bribe, you have to use mobile money. So the world should go in that direction. So those of you who are stealing, the money is becoming digital. You will need a bribe from me, digital. I saw that in Spain during COVID. It caught me there. You could have nothing to do with money. You have the phones you put on those machines. So probably that is the only hope.
The Q code.
Yeah, the codes and digital money. So we should digitalize money. I'm glad there is a budget in Bank of Uganda campaigning for e-money. That should be the direction. Otherwise, these thieves are doing very well.
Okay.
And now we have started catching the thieves when others are are dry. They have stolen. They are now tired. They now want to stop. Now they want to catch others. People who are just starting are being surrounded.
Honorable, politically speaking, NRM is headlining for fighting against corruption.
Actually, the fight against corruption, let me just whisper, it's not even NRM, it is PLU. We can leave it there. They called, in my opinion, the new thing in this fight against corruption is PLU, not even NRM.
But what's the difference between NRM?
I'm writing an article which is fully paid for by some foreign government. And one of the preambles I'm saying the difference between Museveni and Muhoozi is that one, Muhoozi is a nationalist, Museveni is tribalistic. Two, Muhoozi, yes, I'm talking as a philosopher. Two, Museveni condones corruption, Muhoozi does not. That's already a quick difference between the two. So Balaam is a member of PLU.
I hope you're mindful of the sovereignty law. You're sponsored by foreign agents.
No, that is what scholars do. We write articles and they pay us to what we view Uganda. So if that push, that little bit of hand which was coming out of the bucket, that lion, if they could only concentrate on corruption and forget about the basement, we would all be happy.
Honorable Mwiru, as we get out of here, I want to thank our Afro-Mobile viewers out there. We are switching. Do you imagine that NRM is...
NBS Frontline. NBS. Always.
What if I told you your employer could be breaking the law simply because there is no breastfeeding facility at your workplace, or that dismissing you without fair hearing could come at a hefty cost? Uganda's new Employment Amendment Act 2026 is changing the rules of the workplace from workers' rights and severance pay to casual employment and workplace harassment. So what do these changes mean for employees, employers, and the business? Welcome to Business Perspective, where we will dissect it for you. I am Isabella Tugumen. On the 29th of April 2026, President Museveni assented to the Employment Amendment Act, the most significant.
All the effort to the extent that if someone, they know that Otto is dealing with this, nobody interferes. Njara is dealing with the other. The last thing is the will. Because like this, like we talk about these big contracts of roads, what you forget to say that President Museveni has been floating the procurement rules. I think that's what we need also to remember. That all these things, because he has been floating the procurement rules, and most of the big contracts here in the country, they're not for local companies. Therefore, the company they have been sourcing for him, which has been directed that actually they take up those contracts. All these big contracts, they become the procurement.
Honorable Mwiru, you've been weaponizing corruption to taint government as bad, very corrupt. Now government is taking the lead.
Doing what?
In fighting.
Where? Because I've told you as honorable made it clear that actually the law as is creates accountability committees as part of the accountability cycle.
Was Nandu to take it to prison by NUP or by government?
Now this is what I want to tell you, that now Nandu, even stealing, as you said, is also a skill. Because all other thieves, return them are bad. Because everybody knew that, you see, because when you purchase government goods, you take them on charge. Take them on charge that the supplier goes to the store, it delivers the goods there. These people are picking coupons and going to the manufacturer. You either take the actual cash or you take the mabat, and you fill the papers. But you see, the issue that I don't know, there's already the matter has been determined, but the detail we got, she did not. There was the window, because Mabati was an offense of strict liability. You saw how the Minister of Finance said, I found them in my comb. I wonder why my sister didn't get any for because they were all over. And she was,
under her ministry. No, she's one of the. I worked with her for about 20 years.
So at the end of the day, on Bwana Njala, we have no problem. That's why I told you, I support what Balaam is doing because it's what we have been doing. What we want to see him do, go to the bigger offices, because the corrupt are known. The big contracts. You don't tell me that he's in the Bulambuli. He's on a school of 600 million. But when we pass these loans, we know where the money has gone. For instance, now, let me tell you, did you know that there is a quarantine on importation of birds in the country? People are engaging in poultry. And for 2 years. And do you know what is happening? A handful of people, for them they're allowed to import. Yet when you import them, you come with a certificate of health on importation. Rwanda is allowed, Kenya is allowed. Now what the other part doing, they import, take it to Kenya, sneak it to Uganda. Others import through the airport, the big ones.
Oh, through Tanzania.
And there's next one?
Tanzania.
Do you know
about this or
not? Yes, I know about it.
She's in the business.
I'm aware about it, and I'm one of the poultry farmers.
The poultry farmer, but she also, actually, for me, I knew when one former MP got pension, put up the structures. Now, when he wanted to import, then he started calling me that, hello, please let us say something. I said, but you, man, you were in the parliament, and you are in NRM. You allowed all this thing to take place. So why are you crying? But I realized that I had to be fair to him. I know that my sister, she's also a poultry farmer. She's being affected. I know that she's among those who are importing through on the black market. No, they are doing it. Others are doing at the airport. Others are not having an opportunity. So meaning that now that is also corruption. Just like now, the fish farmers also calling. They have been engaging in fish farmers. The president has been saying, now in Impondo, the Chinese have taken over the market. They bring in their fish from China and sell it in Impondo. They don't compete the Ugandans. The Chinese.
They're bringing fish from China?
From China. And selling at Impondo in Kasese. And not competing our... Yes. you understand?
No, he's a fish farmer. He even flew up to Egypt to do a research on cage farming. Yeah.
Just now, now that is the corruption.
And let me hear this again. Are we eating Chinese fish now?
Now, why they're doing in Impondo, they said it there at that market, they also take it to Congo, but they're out-competing our people. Now these things you cannot talk about, because when the Chinese now, they must have a corrupt officer who's allowed them to do that. Because I was telling someone in government to act. Then I was saying that, these things of these days, you got slow. You can touch a Chinese and then you have lost the job. I'm nearing retirement, so I don't know that.
Gentlemen and Honorable Lumumba, what a pleasure hosting you tonight. And definitely the conversation continues on all our socials. Honorable Lumumba, Minister for Information and National Guidance, thank you for coming. Honorable To, Honorable Mwiru, and Job, have a lovely night.
Should be the shining star of the continent, but still there is a lot of work to be done. To be positive about it, there are lessons to be learned. It is our duty to learn those lessons, that when people are separated, it is never easy to bring them back again. It takes effort on the part of those who left and on the part of